Now then, how do feelers? It is Tim, as you know. Right now, I'm in the Lake District. It's my 30th birthday, like 6 months ago, but people for the 30th, they have big family parties and everything like that sometimes. My family said, what do you want to do? And we went to Snowdon last year with my niece and nephew and everything, my sisters and my mum and dad. And I said, and my brother-in-law, said I'd like to do that again, but take you guys to the Lake District. And they said okay, so we booked it for August. So this is sort of my 30th getaway, and I know I'm not with my family right now. They're nowhere. Spent the day yesterday, it was really nice, and we'll do some stuff later, but I wanted to get out on my own, go up for a hike. I've never gone up this way, I've come down it before. And was laying in bed last night and thinking, processing, because I put out a video talking about my current, where I was at with my diet, and I don't take it too seriously. I witness myself a lot of the time and just go through it. I'm not like, oh, woe is me, life sucks, I'm suffering, can't figure it out. I don't ever feel like that. I'm always on my path. Didn't ask for advice, but I appreciate all you giving advice out of love. I know you mean well, and there's quite a lot of videos, people responding. And one of the things I actually wanted to talk about, I wanted to speak about it a few weeks ago or months ago after fasting, because people were saying I got an eating disorder, and this sort of brought that up again, which is, I mean, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. But this sort of brought that up again because someone was like tried to label it bulimic, because I put my fingers down my throat to throw up because I ate too much banana smoothie. I don't take it too seriously. I just ate too much banana smoothie. I used to do that occasionally when I used to drink more. After a night out, if I felt you don't go into bed feeling dizzy, I'd just go, huh, clear it out, and I'd wake up without a hangover. And that wasn't ever regular. It's not a regular thing. It's just a tool we have as a human. You don't need to label it and put a negative guilt thing. I mean, we'll get into it, because obviously I don't want to, you know, if this triggers you, maybe switch off. Hopefully you've already switched off by now. It's a sensitive subject, but actually I want to address it in a way that maybe people haven't really addressed before. But what I'm doing is, because I'm walking uphill, I'm in a closed heart space. I don't want to get into it right now. I'm going to get to the top, jump in the lake, freshen up, and then when I'm walking downhill, and my heart space is more open rather than breathing heavy going up, that will bring the truth out more and we can get into it there. So I'll see you on the other side. Look at this. Do I cross the stepping stones or the bridge? The bridge is beautiful. Actually, no, I cross the stepping stones. 2 miles later, bit of climbing. We made it to the tarn. Look at that. The iPhone died, so we switched to the GoPro. Look at this. Just around the river bend. Relax. See, more a panic. There we go. That wasn't actually too bad. It was already pretty cold as it was. Anyway, turns out. Right. One thing I observe is that what can be, there's several things with this, what can be just as big an issue as someone who's choosing not to eat or choosing to eat a certain way and act a certain way about it, is the label of giving someone the label eating disorder. One, someone might want to be thin and skinny, and putting an issue on that can be a problem in the first place, telling them that you're too skinny compared to a society which is probably pretty much overweight anyway. So that can be an issue. Labeling it an eating disorder, it can also be an issue, because then you give someone an attachment to something, like, and then you give them a guilt and a connection to that, which can keep them trapped. Then they stiffen up, and that can promote imbalance. For me, I try not to label things. I just say, oh, I'm a little bit imbalanced right now. And here's the thing with balance. If you don't overshoot, sometimes you cannot find the middle point. Look at handstands. If you're constantly undershooting, you never overshoot, you won't find the balance point. You'll never find the middle ground, as Buddha said. Buddha fasted for like 40 days and he realized, I don't need to fast for 40 days. I only remember this story afterwards. He realized he had to go through the experience. Someone couldn't just comment on his YouTube and say, you don't need to do that, just be the middle ground, take the middle path. You have to go through the experience yourself. But then the label of that, labeling something bulimic, I'm bulimic, or me, I'm bulimic, that can then cause a problem. You're just a little bit imbalanced maybe, or maybe you're not even imbalanced. People are maybe projecting onto you, telling you you've got an issue. You don't feel hungry, maybe you don't feel hungry and don't want to eat as much as everyone else. I fasted, I didn't eat for 35 days. You can go without eating. You don't need to eat as much as we think we need to eat. So people in your family could be putting an issue onto you that's not even an issue, that you didn't even think of as an issue. And then they can project their own fears onto you through this label. And that can be the biggest thing, when people just need support and understanding and a laugh. Maybe you just need to laugh about it. I laughed about it after I did that. Sorry, body, forgive me. We're working it out. We're just a little bit imbalanced. Isn't that mad? What we did. We're human and going through a human experience. We don't need this fear and pushing and labeling and angst and labels, man. So that, I mean, that for me is it in a nutshell, because what it does, it makes us stiffen up. You stiffen up. I was walking up there earlier, and so this is a situation where I'm less attached to. The more we're attached to a situation, the more we stiffen up, right? And so you look at it like, if you've ever been on a slack line, or you watch someone on a slack line, someone new to a slack line, they're really rigid and they stiffen up and they're not relaxed. And they go, it shakes like mad, and they can't stay on the slack line. And then as you get better, you learn to relax on the slack line. You don't stay attached to being, I need to be straight and balanced. You learn that it comes from relax, and like the best athletes, surfers, handstands, you've got to relax into the position. Yes, there's a certain amount of rigidity, but with relaxedness as well. And so, if you can be relaxed about the way you eat and find the balance through that, rather than attaching a label to I am vegan, I am bulimic, I am this, then you'll find it much easier to find. In fact, even positive labels, like I say, like the word vegan to us is a positive label, that can make you stiff and too attached to it, or raw vegan, and the answer could be right in front of you. And like I say, too attached. Here we are at God's Gallery, by the way, absolutely gorgeous. So back to a point, a situation I am less attached to earlier, as I was walking up this path, there was a low path and a higher path, and my sort of motto is always take the higher path. And before I could think, I took the lower path. And if I label myself a low path taker, I'd be like, oh, I'm just weak, I'm too scared of taking the steeper path, I always take the low path. And then the next low path comes along, oh, well, I'm just labeling myself a low path taker, I'm just going to take the low path. Could cause an issue, because I'm not bothered about where I took the high path or the low path. Next time I'll take the high path. I'm just less attached to the scenario. Let me just cross this river. Precariously cross this river. Gorgeous, eh? Hey. Right. Alright. Okay. So we're through. So yeah. And you might have a different opinion. You might be upset with my opinion. That is your opinion. You're welcome to that. But I thought I wanted to share this. It is you know, it's easier for me not to share this and not to speak my opinion, because this is very sensitive to people online. And I was going to speak about it weeks ago and I thought against it, and as it's come up again, I thought I'll do it and share it, because it could help people. Because that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. Let's not attach labels, these words, eating disorder, bulimia, we're all just trying to work it out. We're all just a little bit imbalanced. Sometimes we overshoot the balance, sometimes we undershoot. And overshoot isn't necessarily positive or negative, undershoot isn't positive or negative. they're both just the journey of life, just a bit imbalanced, and we'll get there together. But the more we come together through support and love and understanding and laughter and not projection and fear and labels, we might just make it. Might just make it out alive and a little bit healthier. Right. I love you all. Godspeed.